Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jurassic World. Today we have two behind-the-scenes featurettes that we're going to be taking a look at. They're really short, so we won't be here for long, which is good because I have so much else to do today. But these videos are fun and really important to me, so let's jump right in.
Hello, people at home. I'm Chris Pratt. Thank you for joining me. I'm here with my guest, Colin Trevorrow.
You said it right, finally.
Trevorrow,
After all
like
these-
tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
For all these years. Welcome, Chris Pratt. I have a stack of questions. Tell me how you feel about me.
Yeah, how do you feel about me?
What did you feel when you were presented with the opportunity to be in a Jurassic film? Didn't you predict this in 2009?
Actually, I did.
Yeah.
I did predict
It's a real
it.
thing.
Roll the clip.
Hi, my name's Chris Pratt, and I'll be shooting footage behind the scenes.
When I was doing behind the scenes for Parks and Recreation, there's this video. You can find it online. I essentially made a joke, because at the time, it was a complete and utter joke to think that Steven Spielberg would be interested in me for Jurassic Park 4. I made the prediction on a video.
From Steven Spielberg. God, it's so annoying.
And I basically, in a self-deprecating fashion, alluded to the idea that he was texting me and was interested in me for Jurassic Park 4.
Sorry.
I remember this video clip. I remember seeing that. I want to say I saw that before Jurassic World came out. I might not have. I don't really remember. Like I've said before, I really liked Chris Pratt on Parks and Recreation. I loved Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec, Community, a lot of other little shows that were on NBC at the time. NBC has the same issue that Fox and a handful of other networks have, where they won't commit to a show. They'll order a season of something, let it run, let it get high ratings, then just cancel it for no particular reason.
Steven,
It's very strange.
I'll have to get back to you later about Jurassic Park 4. Boom.
You think there is a cosmic connection that happened now for a reason? Is that a complete coincidence?
I believe it's both. I believe in paradox and humor.
Yeah.
So I think it was absolutely both. I put it out in the universe and it came true in a remarkable coincidence. What was your favorite moment / memory from the other Jurassic movies?
My favorite moment from all the Jurassic movies is in the second Jurassic movie, in The Lost World. There's a sequence where this vehicle is hanging over a cliff and Julianne Moore falls on the glass and the glass starts cracking. And that, to me, is all-time great Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, that was an intense, nerve-wracking scene. The Lost World is definitely one of the more underrated. I know I say that about JP3 all the time, but no, The Lost World is the one I hear people speak the least about. And it was the most ambitious out of the series, if you ask me.
There's something about his ability to put you in a situation and assume that you've reached the highest level of suspense and intensity, and then add another level. Also, when the kid in the first Jurassic Park film goes into the freezer and you've got the raptor coming to get him, and then the raptor gets in and he's trying to get out, and instead of the kid running out, he cuts to the feet slipping on the ice and just adds this other layer.
Yes.
Every time It shocks and surprises you. It never feels like he's even thinking about it. It feels natural, and God, do I aspire to that. I have that question for you. Do you have memories from other Jurassic movies?
I mean, the cup with the water, that was in the trailer. Because this was an event for me as a kid. It was like the first event movie of my life.
It was an event movie for a lot of us. I don't think I had been to the movies. I remember when I was a kid, and looking back on it as an adult with some hindsight, it could have just been that my parents didn't feel like dragging kids to the theater and putting up with that. But I remember people would tell me, oh, it's going to be real loud. You're going to want, are you going to want earplugs? And I don't remember how much of that was just me and how much of it was people putting that in my head. I could ask my parents, but they probably wouldn't remember at this point. They're in their 60s. But I remember that much as a child, constantly like, I don't want to go to the movies. I don't want to go to the movies. It's going to be loud, really loud. Again, I don't know where that thought came from. I don't know who put that in my head. But I never went to the movies, I don't think. If I did, I have zero memory of going to the movies before Jurassic Park.
I remember seeing the trailer and it was like...
I don't remember the trailer either.
Vibrating and the surface of the water was rippling. I remember that moment very much. I remember when the lawyer sits down on the toilet and then the dinosaur rips everything around him and it's just him praying on the toilet and then right before he gets eaten. That was pretty good. What do you think the key is to increasing suspense? How do you do that so that it doesn't seem contrived?
I think you imagine yourself a child in that scenario every time around. And I think that, the fear that you had when you were a kid, it wasn't rationalized by all the things you've learned about the safety precautions we have in place to protect us as humans.
Yeah.
And so I think if you imagine yourself an 8-year-old, whether, you're in a freezer on the edge of a boat and a shark's trying to get you, I think the reaction that a child would give is going to be the most honest and real and elemental that you could possibly come up with. I directed the whole movie as a child.
Really?
Absolutely.
That is interesting.
You remember. Seriously, though. I really did. Like, I felt like the entire experience to be able to enter the world through the eyes of a child as we go to the park with these kids. And all the way down to your relationship with Bryce. I feel like it's the way that kids think adults talk to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means I'm ready to go.
Okay. What was the
I did find that scene confusing.
moment on set when you realized I am in a Jurassic Park movie? This is happening and this is real.
There were a lot of moments, like the whole movie.
All of the moments.
Every moment. Everything that was reminiscent of the original movie, like the old visitor center, the old Jeep, things like that. Then when we started doing practical effects, like the Jeep crashing and me diving out of the way or the log rolling behind us, those things. Yeah, kind of the whole movie. I mean,
kind of the whole thing.
There wasn't really ever a moment where I was like, oh, this is just another day at the office. The whole time I was like, you're in Jurassic World, don't screw it up. And I felt like we're part of a great big classic movie. Like, hold on to your butts. Let me ask you this. There was at one point an idea where I think Indominus comes out and sees an animatronic T-Rex and then bites its head off and spits it out.
Yeah.
And like very much murders this thing. In a way, as we move forward with technology, CG becomes so good and animatronic becomes a bit more archaic. Do you think that scene in itself was a metaphor for what's happening with animatronics?
I definitely wish that they had kept that scene in the movie. They cut it. I don't think they even filmed it. But yeah, that would have... it's like the mosasaur eating the shark in Jurassic World when it comes up out of the water and takes the shark. It's kind of a nod to dinosaurs kind of replacing Jaws as a series of intense animal horror. Yeah, I definitely think it said something about that. But I disagree with Chris Pratt on... puppetry and animatronics becoming more archaic. I definitely hope that we don't lose the puppets and the animatronics. They're a huge part of movie magic. They're a huge part of practical effects. And I know that I've been very adamant in the past about stop motion animation and how much I don't like it. It's jerky. It doesn't look clean. I don't like it. Not to mention the scale. I don't buy the miniatures. Anytime I see a miniature in a movie, it just takes me right out of it. Granted, I'm not super eagle eye, so unless it's blatantly obvious, if it's done right, sometimes I might, not notice it. But no, we got to keep animatronics as a thing.
Yeah, it was the right choice, and it was something that Steven pointed out. I just love the idea of a dinosaur biting the head off a robot.
I love that too. I was like, that's so sweet.
But that's the problem. I think, I get excited because something's awesome, and I don't necessarily think about all of the reasons why how it might be interpreted by people. And Steven has a really good eye for how things will be processed, and he saw that and felt like he didn't want anyone to think that we're saying our CGI dinosaur is biting the head off of an animatronic and destroying animatronics and asserting its dominance in any way, because neither of us feel that way. Oh, okay, this is fun. So the kiss scene, when you kiss Bryce Dallas Howard surrounded by dying pteranodons as one like kamikazes behind you. What did you think about that moment when I suggested that you do that?
I was really curious to see whether or not it would fit into the movie, because I mean, like, in balancing the tone of this, you've got like the suspense, you've got humor, the high stakes action, and so I think it was smart to get it in that moment, and it was just another example of why I was right to put so much trust in you in this movie, because it never would have occurred to me to add that. I'm thinking like things are flying out of the sky, I've got to save these kids, I got to try to save these people, and so like to think of adding an element of romance in there was something I wouldn't have thought of. And if I remember correctly, we didn't tell Bryce.
No, that was a surprise.
Yeah, we surprised her with that.
They're all so excited.
Well, that's not okay.
The idea was we're just going to have Chris Pratt surprise her in front of 200 people.
That was awesome.
See, the problem with that is that she can't object. Like, she can't make a big scene. This is the issue. Like, I don't want to get political and make a whole thing out of this, but when you hear women complain, and you hear the constant feminist talk, it's for a good damn reason. Like that kind of, even as a man, that kind of makes me sick to my core. You might be thinking, oh, it's a little kiss, it's harmless. Men kiss women all the time without asking, and if she didn't like it, all she's got to do is slap him and say it wasn't okay. Well, yeah, but it's 2025 now. Granted, this was 10 years ago in 2015 or 14 when they actually filmed it, but yeah, that's not okay, and you don't have to be like super PC or super liberal to understand that that's definitely kind of an underlying bigger issue that women face, not only in the workplace but in the creative field. She's on set with all these people. What's she gonna do? Make a big scene? Make an ass out of herself? She kind of just has to suck it up and go with it. Granted, she might have liked it. She might not cared. I don't know. I'm not her. I'm just saying that it's kind of not appropriate.
And that's the take that's in the movie.
Is it?
Absolutely. And that's why it works.
Yeah.
In moments of high tension and trauma, when people go through something together, there's something very cathartic about, what's something that we know as humans to do when we're just, oh God, I just love whoever's around me. I love you.
Yeah.
And I think that when it comes to tone, this is one of the very few kinds of movies that has to be funny, adventurous, scary, science fiction, about ethics. And I wanted an opportunity for us to go to the wall on every single one. It was just an awesome experience.
Pretty cool. Spared no expense.
It was a pleasure. And thank you for hanging out on the set of Jurassic World and being in my movie.
Thanks for having me. Well, guys,
All right.
This has been Chris and Colin Take on the World.
Signing off.
We bid you adieu.
Hanley, take 4.
And action! Go! Now!
Hey, how you doing? Chris Pratt here with Jurassic World. We're about to shoot Eric Edelstein, who's about to be eaten by the D-Rex.
Cut! Right, really good.
Oh, yeah, I forgot people were calling it the D-Rex during production.
Really good.
We're on the set of Jurassic World. It's basically a small independent movie about a paddock supervisor. And this is the point where the paddock supervisor squares off against a dinosaur.
We're doing Eric's last shot of the movie. He's like kind of crying and whimpering before he meets his maker.
Action on Eric.
I'm gonna be so sad to see him go. I love Eric, and in fact, fans of Parks and Recreation will know that we've met before. Me as Andy and him as Lawrence. So I was just thrilled when I found out he was doing this role. It was like,
Oh yeah, he wasn't. I guess he was in Parks and Rec. It's been a while since I've watched Parks and Rec. I'm currently rewatching through the X-Files. I do that every, 5 years or so. I'll sit down and watch through a series that I recently did. I started last year with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and then I went through South Park all the way, and now I'm working through the X-Files. I might do Parks and Rec next, because honestly, shows today are kind of meh at best. I think there's one single episode left of The Handmaid's Tale. Now, The Handmaid's Tale was good, but it definitely kind of droned on further than it should have. I think I'm going to have to drop The Walking Dead, and I've said this before, that show was one of the most boring things in the world. I was trying to fight off the FOMO. I was worried somebody might try to talk about it. It was a water cooler show. So I stuck it out to the end, and it just went nowhere. And then they did the sequel series, and I might have to drop them. It's just, I can't. Like, I didn't think Breaking Bad was as good as everybody thought it was. I typically like what I like in a vacuum. I try not to watch stuff just because it's popular. Like, I've never seen Friends. From the little clips I've seen here and there through cultural osmosis, I didn't really care for it. And there have been other shows the same way. But From is another show that I was watching, and it's just kind of going nowhere. The Walking Dead, Dead City, it's going nowhere fast, like the show did. Then there's the other one with what's his face. Why am I blanking on his name? The guy who plays Daryl. That spinoff series is also really boring. Then there's Game of Thrones was really popular, and it was good at first for the first couple of seasons, and then it started to drone on too. So yeah, the longer a show is in production, the less steam it tends to have. Like, I'm watching through the X-Files, but by the time I get to season 8, I don't know if I'm going to bother with 8 and 9. I might just skip from 7 straight to 10 and 11 and watch those two. But yeah, Parks and Rec is one of my all-time favorites, and we might be due for a rewatch.
a little reunion for Parks and Rec fans.
Yeah, can we just go like 5 feet up to start? Okay, here we go. Rehearsing. On go. 3, 2, 1, go. King of the world.
This is him doing his own stunt like a boss.
Guys. 3, 2, 1, pull. Yeah, baby. I'd like to do one more. Stunts go hot. Go hot. 3, 2, 1, pull. And let's cut and bring them down. Hell yeah, you did good. That is a wrap, everybody.
So let me know what you guys thought about today's video. I'm a little behind the scenes for Jurassic World. It is the 10th anniversary this year. Wow, time flies, guys. I mean, think about this. Jurassic Park's 10th anniversary was 2003. His 20th anniversary would have been 2013. His 30th anniversary was 2023. We're getting old, folks. We are getting old. But I have more Jurassic Park content and Jurassic World content on the way. Follow me on Blue Sky because I definitely post a lot of Jurassic Park / World stuff over there as well. Join the Discord. I've created threads in the Discord for Jurassic World, the X-Files, and a handful of other things. So if you want to be part of the discussion, if you're here just for the Jurassic content, that's fine too. I do vlogs. I have the Let's Play stuff. That's the main attraction on the channel. All right, that's gonna do it for me for today. We'll see you guys in the next one.